My wife passed away 3 years ago in a car accident. I am now a single father to our 3 kids, tween, pre-tween, and young child. It has been incredibly difficult providing for them by myself, but they've never wanted for anything a day in their life. They're happy, healthy, and thriving, thanks to therapy and a good support system. In my wife's culture, it's customary for children to care for their parents in old age. Her parents very much expected this of her. This was something my wife talked to me extensively about before and during our marriage. We thought about it a lot because I felt that our focus should be on our kids and doing everything we could to give them a good life. My wife wanted to house her parents in our home, but I disagreed for multiple reasons, such as cost and lack of living space. We eventually agreed to help them pay for a condo or other living arrangements, but not house them. But sadly, we never got the chance to figure out exactly how that would work. Her parents, her mom specifically, took my wife's death hard and fell into depression. She became a recluse, and neither she nor my father-in-law has been very involved in our lives since my wife's death. However, father-in-law recently retired and contacted me about honoring my wife's promise to help care for them in their old age. I flat out told him that I could not honor that promise. He got upset and told me that this was something that his daughter had promised him and his wife, and as her husband, it's now my responsibility to keep that promise. I told him that I have 3 kids to provide for, and I don't have the time, energy, or money to provide for 2 more people. He told me I was disgracing my wife's honor and memory, and that he knew it was a mistake for her to marry outside of her culture. He called me again a few days later and tried to apologize for what he had said. He told me that he acted irrationally and that he was sure we could work something out that would be beneficial for everyone. I asked him what he meant by that, and he said that he and his wife could come live with us so that they could help with the kids, and I could still honor my wife's promise to her parents. I again flat out told him no. I told him that I'd managed fine the past 3 years without their help, and I'll continue to do fine. I told him his proposal was only beneficial to them, not to me in any way. He again tried to tell me that I needed to do this to honor his daughter's memory, as this was something that she promised to him and his wife. I told him that sadly, that promise died with his daughter. He said something to me in his native language that I'm assuming was not a compliment from his tone, and hung up on me. They've been minimally involved in our lives since my wife passed away. Their needs are so far down on my priority list. But I'm torn because I hate feeling like I'm letting my wife down in any way, even if she's not here anymore. Not the idiot. Odd that he didn't take this up with you until he made a choice to retire and stop supporting himself. It also didn't occur to him that you had only 1 income, rather than the 2 that you might have had to try to take care of more than just your immediate family. Your obligations are to your children. This includes planning for your future, a future that won't include you using your kids as a retirement fund. Agree. Children shouldn't be expected to be retirement plans, let alone their widows or widowers. OP, you cannot create money, time, or resources out of thin air. Don't let them guilt trip you. Your priorities are your children and yourself. You matter. Your needs matter. They abandoned their daughter's children for 3 years. They've only resurfaced because they want something from you. Honestly, you're not the idiot. Don't feel bad for 1 more second. Your wife could have met her obligations directly by purchasing life insurance. Since she had a spouse, 3 young kids, and 2 parents who would be leaving the workforce shortly, she needed that coverage as much as anyone. Although dying can be unexpected, it's something that people can and should prepare for. I tell all my friends with kids to get a policy, just something that'll ease the burden on their family if something unfortunate happens. OP, read this for yourself. It's okay to remove these people from your life. How would your wife feel about them abandoning their grandchildren for 3 years? She's so proud of you. You have done everything possible to keep your kids safe and healthy. I hope you can take a moment to be proud of yourself for all you've done. Be kind to yourself. You're doing a great job. My son, nearly adult, loves the water. Ever since he was little, he always wanted to be either at the beach or the pool. He loves to swim, surf, etc. And I mean it when I say it's his favorite thing. We live near a beach, so sometimes he'll just go sit at the beach for a while. It's something he's been doing since he was 12. My sister and her kids were visiting, and it was going fine. But then I noticed my son was never home. I asked him about it, and he said that it's just really overwhelming at the house because his cousins never leave him alone. They're pre-tween and tween girls that adore him, so he just goes to the beach to avoid them. I told him I understand and talked to my sister, who said she talked to them. Well, yesterday, I came home to my nieces sitting in the living room watching a movie. My son and sister were nowhere to be found. Neither of them was answering the phone either. I'm not usually concerned, but my son always texts me or answers my phone calls at least. I got the girls, went to the beach, and found my son at his usual spot. But my sister was there too, and she was yelling at him. She said something along the lines of, "You do realize you aren't in some film where the main character's like connected to the sea or has magic ocean powers, right? Like you realize that you aren't like that Percy Jackson character and your dad isn't some sea god." My son looked really upset, and he has an explosive temper, so I knew he was about to say something crazy. So I immediately jumped in and asked my sister what the heck her problem was. She looked taken aback and said that she told my son to watch the girls while she went to get food, but when she came back, he wasn't there, and the girls were alone. My son insists that he said he was busy, but my sister insists that he didn't. They went back and forth on this without letting me get a word in, and I eventually just told my sister that this wasn't working out, and that if she was going to fight and argue with my son and mock him, then she wasn't welcome in my home. She looked shocked and said that I needed to stop coddling my son and stop feeding into his ridiculous delusions. I just told her to pack her crap. She said that her daughters would remember this and that I shouldn't be surprised when no one wants the weird side of the family, meaning my son and me, around anymore. I feel bad because her daughters look genuinely upset, and my son could also be lying. And I don't know, maybe his love for the water isn't healthy, but that's never crossed my mind. Am I the idiot? Edit. The mocking doesn't make sense without context. My child's father left us. When my son was younger, my brother got him into the Percy Jackson books, and my son got pretty attached to the character and would tell people that he was the character and would say that his dad was similar to Poseidon, which is why he wasn't around. Now, I haven't read the books, so I don't know the details, but it was for a very short while when he was a lot younger. He hasn't even mentioned Percy Jackson in years. I don't know how far into the argument they were. Still, it strikes me that if your son had agreed to watch the kids and then left, your sister wouldn't be saying he had a delusional relationship with the water. She would be saying, "Why did you leave my kids unattended when you agreed to watch them?" Also, if she were genuinely concerned about her daughter's well-being, I'm not sure why she would have left them to go yell at your son. Anyway, not the idiot. She left her kids alone to yell at him for leaving her kids alone. She's a hypocrite and an idiot. I'm unsure how not letting someone yell at your child equals coddling. And I'm not sure why a teenager going to the beach to clear his mind is such an issue with everyone here. How's that any different from an adult or anyone going for a run to clear their mind? Or yoga or reading? Do any of those things clear your mind equal not dealing with life? She made it sound like it was incredibly weird. I doubt your son thinks he's part of the ocean. Kid or not, it's hard to respect someone who says what your sister said. Your sister really let the mask slip there when it comes to her worldview. I can't imagine your boy will forget the things she said either. Good riddance, mate. My soon-to-be husband and I have chosen our first dance song. My stepsister's not at all happy because she and her ex-husband also had this at their wedding, and she said she has a lot of memories of this particular song. She asked if I could change it. I told her, I get it, but this is what we wanted, and I didn't want to change it. She said she understood, but she's been acting different around me, and I could tell she was mad or upset. A few months after they got married, he was in an accident. He thankfully survived, but had a very severe brain injury, among other things. He lives in a specialized nursing home. They did get divorced, but my sister still goes on about how she loves him and visits him occasionally. He doesn't remember who she is most of the time, but my sister said she apparently sang this song to him, and he looks like he remembers her words. The song is Come What May, from the movie Moulin Rouge. My sister sees it as their song. She and her ex first met at the movies when they both went to watch it. Then apparently the restaurant they went to for their first date was also playing it, so they took it as a sign. And as I said, they played it at their wedding, so she also sings it to him sometimes now. I think it's a really nice song, and I'd like to play it too. I don't want to have to change it. Most people who know about this don't think I'm doing anything wrong, but I had my sister and one of her friends tell me that I'm being selfish and not understanding here. Am I the idiot? Holy crap, you are the idiot, 100%. You have zero attachment to a song that symbolizes your stepsister's love. The fact that it's the only thing that gets the love of her life to even remember her makes it so much worse. You heard it at her wedding as her first dance song and decided to copy it. Yes, it's your wedding, and yes, she doesn't own the song, but the fact that it's associated with her severely injured ex, where one of their last happy memories was dancing to that song, and he doesn't remember her, but still remembers that moment, makes you a total idiot. Find another song if you want to keep your stepsister in your life. I would never talk to you again if you didn't change it. There are thousands of other songs that sound nice. Pick one. Have you told your fiancé about this association with the song? Do you even like your stepsister? Yeah, you can use any song you want, but in this circumstance, it seems oddly targeted. This also takes away from your day and your fiancé's, while also making your stepsister and potentially other family members uncomfortable. You couldn't be any crueler. If I was your stepsister, I wouldn't come to your wedding and would cut all contact with you. My boyfriend and I are trying for a baby, and my friend Annalise knows this. Annalise talked a lot about wanting children, but she stopped about a year ago, saying that children are too expensive, which is all fine, it's her choice. But she and her husband make a lot of money, so it's not true that they couldn't afford to raise a baby. They go on many vacations, and just going on one less per year would cover the baby's expenses. She, a few other friends, and I were hanging out, and one of them asked her if she still didn't want children. Annalise went on about how she can't afford it because a child needs this and that, a private school, tutoring, a big house, then a gift house when they graduate uni, etc. And she thinks it would be beyond irresponsible to have a baby when she can't provide everything to it. She said all this while I was sitting next to her, fully knowing that I'm about to have a baby with much less money and as a renter. At first, I just told her that babies don't cost that much, and she can't afford one. But then she insisted that a couple needs to make at least X amount, and I just straight off told her to shut up. She makes 2 to 3 times as much as we do, so shut up. Annalise said she was answering the question she was asked, and she wasn't trying to push her views on us. But isn't she? When she literally said, I'm being irresponsible. Am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here. I'm dying that you said, babies don't cost that much. That's the most delusional sentence ever uttered. However, is there any chance your friend found out she can't have kids, and this is her way of coping? Seems like quite the 180. It's best to just ignore her. You don't know what she has going on in her life. And by the way, trying for a baby is not about to have a baby. That was exactly my thought. It can be very difficult when you find out you can't have kids, and not something people want to talk about. Not typically something people completely change their mind about after trying for kids. And their idea of expenses is so blown out of proportion that they're likely trying to cope. I would never be able to have a kid anyway because they're so expensive. I disagree. Annalise is right. Children are expensive, especially with rising inflation. The choice to be child-free is becoming increasingly popular amongst young people. And the sooner you understand that, maybe you'll have less annoyance and resentment for your child-free friends. For everyone saying her sudden non-want is actually about infertility, get a grip. She sounds smart and securely aware of herself here. She's allowed not to want kids, and allowed to have her reasons to not want to, despite the fact that she could, just like you're allowed to want them, despite there being reasons not to. You are the idiot. I might get hate for this, but to me, it seems like she was asked if she didn't want kids, and she answered the question. She has a certain vision of how she wants to raise her child, and knowing that it's expensive, she's not having one. However, she never told you not to have one at your income level. Yup, OP just took it personally when nothing personal was said. Imagine telling your friend to shut up just because you don't agree with them. Grow up, OP. You're about to be a parent after all. I took in his ex-wife and my grandson when my son passed away. She was living off of spousal support and child support. When Derek passed away, she was left with nothing. He didn't even have life insurance. His savings amounted to about $5,000. I told her that they were welcome to stay until she got established with her education and a job. They've been here now for 2 years. My grandson is enrolled in the school across the street from our house. It's not terrible. My daughter-in-law helps out around the house and has completed her schooling. She got a job as an LPN, and I'm looking forward to having my house back to myself. I will miss seeing my grandson every day, but they cannot afford to live in this school district. Everything had been going well until she graduated and got a job. She met a guy. That's fine. I fully understand that. She isn't my son's widow. They were divorced, and she's an adult. She can do whatever she wants. But then she met another guy, and another, and I just don't want it in my house. For 2 years now, I've been discreet about my love life around her and the kid. I spend time at my girlfriend's house, or we go away for the weekend. I don't want her bringing home random guys into my house. I talked to her about it, and she said it's not my business. And I agree. I've asked her to move out at the end of the school year. She says that I'm being an idiot and judging her for her life choices. I'm not. This was never a permanent arrangement. I just want my house back and not to have random guys in it. Am I being an idiot? Not the idiot. She's being entirely disrespectful in your home. She's taking advantage of your kindness. Living there was an offer you extended because it was a more stable environment for your grandson. She can do whatever she wants in her house. Time for her to go. Hope she stays close so you can keep tabs on your grandson. He's gonna need you. Yeah, the classic tale of people biting the hand that feeds them. I really don't understand why people push back like this on people who let them stay with them. The sad part is that your grandson will see this parade of panty party guests that she brings home when they move from your home. I disagree. You are the idiot because you're making this about her intimate life, which is really weird. We're not here to judge you on legal stuff. You never made this a boundary until you decided to tell her you were done. I know that she'd likely leave soon anyway because she had a job, but you're punishing her for having men over. I doubt you'd feel the same if she had girlfriends spending the night. In addition, you could have just told her it was due to her current job. Instead, you chose to shame her for having men over. Feels like alpha male syndrome.